Hi guys, we are back. Another show, a few days out. Obviously post PCA Finals, on to the next NABBA England. Training my man again, James Llwellin, who's been looking after me back in the UK. Back at PowerHouse Gym. I used to train here, well, all last prep really, wasn't it, when I was coming over this year.
Yeah, it was.
Very good gym. The owner's great. Also the members are great. It's not a massive gym, but it's home to a lot of bodybuilding. Welsh bodybuilding champions, I would say. And it's very, I definitely enjoy coming here all the time. So we just finished an arm workout. Obviously James had a look at me.
Chris got, did you say what you got? Third.
No, I haven't done any.
Got third place, which personally I thought was a fair decision. The guys that beat Chris were, I don't know what it was really. I think it was a combination of just structure,
fuller, more muscle maybe.
I don't know. I just sometimes you just know. When,
yeah.
I was happy with how Chris looked. I think Chris had a bit of bad luck on the day. It's no excuse because it wouldn't have changed the outcome of the show. But he had quite a bad upset stomach, I think, from the load that he did the night before. Obviously, Chris has been on a very, very clean diet now for the past probably 4 or 5 weeks with pretty much zero fat. So when we put in some saturated fats this time, his stomach didn't react particularly well. So he got very dehydrated on the day of the show, which did flatten him out. Yes, it meant that he was dry. I would say from the back, Chris beat everybody. Glutes, hamstrings, just the size of Chris's back and the condition of it was too much for everybody else. I think where Chris got beaten were probably on the front shots, which is normally where Chris probably finds he has his hardest time is on the front shots. But I mean, this year I've got to say that his front shots were a hell of a lot better than they've ever been before. So as far as I'm concerned, I was very happy with the outing. I think it showcased Chris's physique really well, showed the strengths that he's got. And we move now on to the NABBA England on Sunday, which is 2 days away. Chris had a bit of time off the diet on the Monday. Back on it on Tuesday, 0 carbs, water high. And now we're in a position where Chris's weight is down to around about 13 stone 2 this morning. Probably the best Chris has ever looked this morning. So I'm really excited about the show on Sunday. We're going to probably follow a similar protocol to last week's, but probably just ease back a little bit on the load and perhaps just have a meal, a cheap meal as opposed to perhaps loading in so heavily with simple sugars and saturated fats, which seemed to unsettle the stomach a bit last week. So I think you've got to be a little bit fluid with these situations and learn from each outing, which is what we do. Obviously we document everything. Chris documents everything from every show, so we can look back and see what we've done. So yeah, we'll probably hit the same kind of regime. Very low carbs tomorrow, followed by a load in the evening. Shut his water off before the load, before the meal, and then we'll take show day as it comes. So yeah, I think it's been a successful week. I'm very hopeful for the NABBA England. I think NABBA looks for the kind of physique that Chris has got. He's never really placed lower than 6th in the British Finals in NABBA. He's had numerous invites to the Mr. Universe, but never taken him up on it. He's never felt he's ready. I think this year he's ready. I think he's made the necessary changes to his physique to be competitive, and that's what any of us want going into a show, is to be competitive. And I think Chris deep down thought that he wasn't competitive, and I think perhaps he was right. I think this year already, I think if he does qualify, which I know he will, personally I would like Chris to do the Universe, but again, it's down to Chris. It's a long journey back from Dubai. It's expense. So again, it's something we'll have to sit down. He'll have to discuss with his wife what he decides to do. But whatever his decision, I'll stand by him, as I always do.
I said I had a bit of upset with my stomach, but it would have changed the result. And to be honest, I was just really thankful to be able to get on stage, because the way the morning was panning out, I was back and forth the toilet. I ate 400 grams of turkey breast with about 6 rice cakes and a banana, and that was from like the minute I woke up until I went on stage for about 7 p.m. at night, so I had very little in my stomach. So I did struggle to pump up a little bit backstage, but at the same time my stomach was flat. I could really suck it in well, the condition was good, and I was happy. A lot of positive feedback. I really had a good day. It was run smooth and a nice experience, and very excited about the next show. And like James was saying, if we get the invite, I think I just play show by show. So I would really, I'd love to do the Universe. I think if I won my class and I was a contender for the overall, and people were like, you should do the Universe, and I should. But you can never, judge how you look until you're on stage competing against the guys you're going up against. So until we get there, and then I can, reevaluate what the outcome was, and then make the decision. I know where my physique needs to improve now. I've seen it on stage for next year. I think I need more adductors, bit more quad separation, but I honestly think that's more depth and more muscularity in the quad. So, all the areas we focused on from the off season, which was my back thickness, my glute thickness, my hamstring drop, my calves, my abdominal 3D depth, plus my waist and shoulder cap, I feel like all of them were improved. And now the areas I didn't really focus on too much, because you can't focus on everything. The areas I like my quads have always been strong. I feel like now I need to go back to pushing my legs with some good squatting movements, nice wide squats to get the adductors and the VMO and the teardrop back. So I think, I'm excited for this show. We see how this weekend goes.
Yeah, I think what we've got to take into account is the travelling as well, because Chris came to see me on the Monday or the Tuesday? Last
Monday, just on the flight pretty much. Right?
And Chris, even though his carbs are very low, if non-existent, he did hold a lot of water coming over, and that's one thing with Chris. He does hold water, so I think if we did do the Universe, then we'd have to sit down and try and work out the best plan for him to try and keep as much of that water off as possible. It's impossible if you're sat down for any length of time, whether it's in a car, on a train, on a plane. Your body's going to hold water. It's exacerbated by plane flights.
I pretty much I had nothing.
No.
From 10 p.m. the flight was at 2 a.m. and the 7-hour flight, I didn't eat anything. That day I think it was 0 carbs. I had 50 grams the next day, and still I retained the water. Like the first time on all prep that I looked at myself, oh shit, that's a lot of water. Like I hadn't seen that.
I knew it would come off, and it's just a question when you land. It's a question of getting that water off, and maybe doing a bit of light cardio, maybe doing some weights, a bit of a circuit, just to get that water moving. Obviously, drinking plenty of water, increasing the vitamin C as well. So. It's not going to be too much of an issue, but I think it's something we do need to factor in if Chris is going to be coming back, and hopefully you know, in those 2 or 3 weeks there is between the NABBA England and the Universe, we can also get a little bit more conditioning. There's not a lot to come off Chris really. You know, his back is hard, his hamstrings are hard. Just a little bit more detail around sort of the delt and the time of the arm between the bicep and the tricep. It's there, but you want that real crispness that just comes with just a long diet. You know,
seems to kind of like propelled after show after show.
Yeah, Chris gets better. Chris gets better show after show. You know, the more he competes, the more loading we do, the more depletion we do. His metabolism just goes into overdrive. And this is what we've seen this week as well. You know, Chris posed earlier, definitely the best he's looked. You know, so if we can maintain that, maybe a touch drier for show day, I'll be more than happy with that. I think it'll be an improved look from the PCA Finals.
Yes, I did. So guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Hope you've enjoyed obviously this prep series, and I'll continue to do so throughout probably the rest of the year. So take care. Thank you once again. Peace out.